Join the Music Universe podcast for this special social media extra from CRS 2021. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Music Universe podcast extras. I'm Matt along with Buddy, and our guest is our dear friend. We feel like we hit it off the first time we had her on the podcast proper, Ms. Allie Colleen. She is ready to release her first full album. Allie, if I could, I think we are more excited for this album than you are.
I doubt it, my man. I really, really doubt it. I cannot wait. You know, it's been such a long time coming. Just in the sense of, you know, I've wanted an album since I was a kid, you know, and then you get to Nashville and things change, and industry wise things change, you know, and it for a while we just weren't sure if an album was even an option for anybody going forward, you know, kind of thing, nonetheless an independent artist.
Mm-hmm.
But we didn't care. We did it anyway, and we're so excited.
How many songs are we going to see on it?
12 brand new songs. Nice. So not like, I personally, it is a huge pet peeve of mine when my favorite artists are like, hey, we're coming out with an EP, 8 songs,
mm-hmm.
and 5 of those songs are already out, you know, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Not for us. 12 brand new songs.
Nice. And do we have a release date yet?
We are shooting for April. Right now, like one of the first weeks in April right now, is what we're hoping for, as far as we are trying to please everybody, obviously, as we do. And so you can physically buy the album as of April, or you can be a streaming warrior, as people like to be, and just wait and listen to a song every 6 to 8 weeks.
Where do you fall on that? Where do you fall on that, given that you were raised an album girl, I'm sure? Where do you fall on streaming versus physical now that you're releasing your own record?
Well, streaming as a listener, obviously, is the most convenient thing on the planet. You know, mm-hmm. Since streaming came out and really hit it, aside from my friends, my personal friends that have released music, I don't think I've gone on to like the iTunes store and bought anybody's music, you know, or vice versa. Unless, like I said, they're just buddies of mine. And then, which in that case, I can't wait to read all their liners and like get into their physical copies of stuff. But as an artist, my dream since I was a kid has been to have a true album, you know, where you get to pull out all the liners in the front and read all the credits and information and lyrics, and there's the big poster on the back when you fold it out, you know, kind of thing. And that's a dream for me. But, you know, we have to think about wonky things nowadays, and there's a lot of people who, if they bought a CD, I don't know what they would do with it. I guess they'd scrape the ice off their car here in Nashville if they were here with it, because there's just not a lot of places you can put a CD anymore, you know, kind of thing. So I'm really excited to see how it works out, but I'm definitely an album girl. Oh yeah. I literally live to listen to 12 songs at one time, which apparently nobody can do anymore. So I'm all about it.
I buy CDs still. I've recently gotten into vinyl, but it's got to be physical. It's got to be on my shelf, which I don't have room for anymore. But now they're stacked in front of others, just because it's got to be the physical copy. You got to read the lyrics if they're there, the liner notes, the posters, all that.
I love that.
Are you going to release the album on vinyl, perhaps?
We have talked about it. I think it would be amazing whether we release like a full vinyl line or whether we have like 20 or so printed and maybe do a giveaway thing. I think would be a really awesome opportunity. But we're not sure about that yet.
Love that. Now, I see you recently performed, or the date is escaping me. I don't know if it's recent or if it's upcoming, but Sarasota, Florida, you had a show. Is that correct?
I am not sure if Sarasota is near where we were, but we were in Holiday, of like Clearwater area. And so we played the Stockyards there about 2 weeks ago. And then from there, we went to the ranch in Fort Myers and got to play those shows. And then this last weekend, we were, what area is Sanford? Right. I guess the opposite side kind of thing. But we got to play the barn last weekend in Florida. So we have got to do some travel shows in the last couple of weeks, all in Florida, because Florida is open, it seems like. But it was really good to be back out.
Yeah. Go ahead, buddy.
Are you doing a meet and greet still, or is that still kind of forbidden at this point?
It's 100% whatever keeps the venue open longest. You know what I mean? If meet and greets pose problems for them, as far as people standing up without masks on, taking pictures, all that kind of stuff, then we will do whatever we can do to accommodate. I know we played in South Carolina not too long ago, and the venue was just not allowed to have meet and greets. So I would go outside with people and I would meet people outside, and then we would all go back inside and I'd go outside with another group of people. You just kind of make it work. But our biggest priority is keeping the venues open for the next shows that they have lined up and things like that.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I know you're not touring as much as you normally would, but you've obviously got to be eager to get back out there. But how does it feel to just actually be playing any shows?
Oh my gosh, I will never, ever, 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 ever again take for granted the one person. You know what I mean? I feel like before the pandemic, before performing to iPhones, before all that stuff, you just wanted the whole venue, you just wanted the masses to care about your set. I wanted every eye in the room on me. I wanted everyone to be paying attention. Oh my gosh, never again will I take for granted the one person that is really tuned in and having a really good time. Ever again. This last couple of weeks when we got to go down to Florida, I just found my people. I found my people in the crowd that were watching me and came there for me and wanted to see my show, and me and them all night, kind of thing. Because everybody else who's out, they just haven't got to leave their house in a year, like go out, party with your friends. I get it, kind of thing. So never again will I take for granted just one person listening, because this whole year of singing to an iPhone has not been awesome. It has not been fun.
Well, you did manage to release "Ain't the Only Hell My Mama Raised," which we feel a little proud of, like step cousins of that, because when you were with us the first time, you were debating over the name for the song. Will we see that on this album? Will that sort of be like the digital single for this album? Or when you say 12 new songs, you mean 12 new songs and the stuff that was released as a single is staying the single?
Correct. I mean, 12 new songs, all new songs. However, I have been playing around with, since we're releasing this physical album really early, and you can get it at any time, there does need to be a big album release moment, I would think, streaming wise, at the end of the year kind of thing, for anybody who just hasn't, gotten the album yet or hasn't found it out or any of those kinds of things. And I do wonder if we do almost a bonus edition album with that physical product, or with not the physical product. So maybe the streaming album will be Ain't the Only Hell and Work in Progress and all the other songs we have out as well. And maybe more of like a 17 or 18, kind of thing. But as far as this physical album goes and everything that we have planned for now, it's all new, all brand new stuff. We'll pick a brand new radio single from the album as well, and we'll put that out at some time this year. And those kinds of things. So just all brand new stuff for me.
Talk about the process of writing this album. We have a little extra time here since you called in early. Let's get into the weeds a little bit. 12 new songs. What was it like to actually, from start to scratch, put this together?
I don't think we knew at the time that we were writing for an album. A lot of these songs, I think one of our oldest ones comes from maybe March or April of 2019. It will be the first single release. And we're looking at the very first week of April right now for this amazing song called Plan House to come out. And Plan House, I wrote with Billy Dawson and Jason Matthews. And it was one of those songs where countless writes. I could tell you, I threw out this idea and just no one bit onto it. Nobody was really interested. And it was really disheartening for me, because I cared a lot about this idea, but there's always purpose in everything, So getting to sit down with Billy and Jason and throw out this idea and then love it, I was like, these are my writers that I need to write this song with. Let's do this. So that was a really special moment. And from then on, it's just been, as songwriters, we write anywhere from 2 to 80 to 100 songs a year, kind of thing. And so these are just the 12 in the last 3 years that have grabbed me and have not let me go, kind of thing. I love these songs. Some of them are very personal. Some of them are songs that I went into the write that day knowing it was for me, and a very personal song. Some of them are songs that just over the last couple of years playing them, I fell in love with them and I found a new meaning for them, even though I wrote them, and some of them are, I do have my first release of just a solo write on this album of a song that I wrote just by myself. And I'm interested to show kind of that side of me as a writer, because I feel like it's a little different than all the other songs in the album. But to answer your question, I don't think we knew at the time that we were writing for an album. I think these are just the songs that have kind of grabbed onto me. And personally, I don't think I can move on from them or write new stuff as well or better without giving these songs a life. So I'm very excited to get these songs out purely just for my creative, just juices to get flowing again and start writing for our next album.
And when you write that many songs, 80 to 100 a year, do you forget about any?
Oh yeah. Some of them don't even leave the right. Some of them you'll show up and you'll have another artist in the room. And it's on those days when I put on my songwriter hat, and I'm bringing in ideas that I think this artist would like, or that this artist would want to write or care about. I'm not writing for me. And so sometimes those writes, the artist leaves with that song, loves the song, and I never really paid 2 cents to it, again, kind of thing. And then sometimes you leave the write and you're already listening to the work tape as soon as you're in the car because you just want to listen to it again, and like reevaluate and see what you can do better. And it's just always so different. But it is not uncommon for most singer-songwriters. Most of us, 1 out of every 10 or 12 songs will really grab us, So not to say we're writing all the time about stuff we don't care about, but it's a true joy for us to find a song and write a song, and at the end of the day be like, this one's for me, like this one's mine. Mm-hmm. That's a really big moment for us.
Yeah, we asked Jamie O'Neill that too, like, because she's written a lot.
What did she say? Because I'm such a fan. I love her.
She said that she kind of knows sometimes if they're for her, and if it's not her sound, then she'll kind of pitch it, or sometimes the label may not be down with her version of it, so then she'll or take it to a friend and like that.
I love that. It does get a lot more limiting and businessy, as a signed writer or a signed artist. So there's still a lot of freedom that I'm working with that I love and that I'm never ever wanting to give up. I can't imagine a label or someone telling me as an artist what songs should represent me. But that's just the case, and it is how it is, and that's when you pick a good team. But I'm such a Jamie O'Neill fan, so I'm kind of geeked out that you guys got to talk to her today.
Well, that was an audio version that will air like we did your first one coming up soon. But as an independent female artist, do you think it's harder today than, let's say, 10 years ago? Because I know there's that big diversity debate going on right now. Do you think that it's getting maybe a little easier now with the social media and being able to independently produce everything?
I think people are really starting to understand that females do genuinely have things to say. And I know that can come off a little harsh, but I really genuinely think for a while, people didn't think that. When you look back at song content for females, it's been very limited what we've been able to sing about and what we have chose to care about and things like that. And so I do think with this new immersive culture that we're in right now that just cares about individuality, I think there's a really special pocket for us to kind of jump into. But I always find this question so interesting because when I look at influences for me at the time that I grew up in country music, more females stick out than men for me. We had Jody Messina and Jamie O'Neill and Reba and Carrie and even Kelly Clarkson. Her and Carrie both kind of found the shows at the same time, and just amazing, talented female artists. There's tons of Dolly and Sheryl Crow and all that kind of stuff just painted in my childhood that I remember. And then I remember maybe 4 or 5 men that kind of stuck out to me in country music, at the time kind of thing, as far as what I was raised on and things like that. So I really don't know. I don't know if it's a culture thing or if we just forgot for a little bit how cool female singers are and we're going to remember, but I feel personally very led and very inspired by the females around me right now. Current ones that have been killing it for a long time, all that kind of stuff. So I think it's a good time for us.
Absolutely. Back in the 90s, you mentioned everybody. The radio was dominated by country women, and now it's like few and far between, it seems.
Right. I don't know why. I wish I did.
Yeah, it's just one of those things, I guess. But I think Matt's got another question before.
We want to kind of take a hard turn and a little bit of a pivot. First of all, how are you doing? I know you had COVID earlier this year. How are you? How's your family? How are you doing? And I know your parents are in quarantine right now.
dealing with an exposure. So just on a human level, y'all okay?
We're good. We're very good. My parents are good. They're healthy. They're safe. So far, everything that I've heard from them, talking to them the last couple of days, they are good, healthy, all that kind of stuff. I don't think the exposure actually was around them. So I think they're going to be fine. I think they're going to be good. But they're good. I'm good. I know I found that COVID was very similar to mono in the sense of once you've had it, it can just jump back out at any time, which I was not prepared for. I thought once I was over it, I was over it. And then a couple months later, I just had a couple spells with it. Never had a positive test again or anything like that, but just definitely had some long-term stuff. But I was fine. I never had to actually go into any facilities or anything like that. I was very lucky. My husband was with me the whole time, never got sick. Since then, his family's had a couple run-ins with it. They've all been very good, very healthy, all good things. So thank you for asking. My family's very good, very safe, very healthy, all that stuff. I hope you guys can say the same.
Yeah. Glad your dad is your parents are safe and healthy, but your dad being off the road and not having planned to be off the road. We could cut this out. This is just something I was so curious about. How is he doing with not be, I mean, they keep pushing those dates back and back and back. First of all, how's he doing with being off the road? Because I'm sure he's going stir crazy. I would imagine he's going stir crazy. And number two, when he does go back out on the road, any plans for you to open for him? Or are you really, is that separation of church and state between the careers really going to stay separate?
I love how you just said it, church and state. That's funny. I don't know about that. But he's been very good. It's so funny as a kid, growing up, my dad would always be busy. He did a lot of farm work. He was just always on a dozer or something, fixing something somewhere, and I always thought that was just something that he loved to do. And it definitely is something that he loves to do and something that is a part of him. But it took me a really, really long time to figure out that he was just keeping himself busy until he could get back on the road. You know what I mean? Like as a kid, I don't think I realized that he was always waiting to go back out. That never crossed my mind as a kid. I just thought that he had his time with music and now he was a dad, and I'm so grateful that he did that. But it wasn't until getting to see him go back out again that I realized that 20 years, he was literally just going stir crazy. So all that to say, this pandemic has nothing on that. He'll be okay. He'll get back out there. He'll get back out there and he'll do it as he does. And he'll kill it. And I know that he can't wait to get back out there. But I know just for me at the level I'm at, it's been really disheartening to just see shows move and move and move and move. Yeah. And so this year, we've told everybody, bandmates, management, everybody, we're taking everything a step at a time. Allie's heart can't take it. I can't take getting stoked about a cruise we're playing next March and it not happen, kind of thing. So I know everybody in this industry, I think, is just taking some time to just really treat everything coming into 2021 as like a case basis, just because of what we had to go through in 2020, as everybody had to go through it.
It's still, we talked with a band called Lachlan yesterday, and they got all this recognition in 2019 heading into 2020, and 2020 hit and it just stilted their rise. And real talk, the same thing could happen to you, which is why I applaud that you're releasing your album in April, and we're excited for that. We're going to review it. We're going to love it. And we see big things for you. Just on your own, under your own name, you're going to be great, because your voice and what you write about is of our generation. And I think it's great. And I wish that things get back to normal as soon as possible, so that you can continue your rise, so that everybody who's headed towards success as the new crop of country artists can continue their rise.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I remember CRS last year talking to Lachlan for a minute, and they were so excited to be there. They were so like hopeful and like excited and had all the glimmers in their eyes and all that good stuff. And they just look at me and they go, "What are we doing?" And I go, "I don't know. What am I doing?" And they were like, "We've worked so hard for this single. And now we come to CRS and everybody's just asking us what happens after the single." And I was like, "Welcome to the business, you guys. You print t-shirts, they want CDs. You print CDs, they want koozies. Like they just want whatever you don't have. Like It's okay. And to get to watch Lachlan really get some traction behind them was really exciting in 2019. I wouldn't say that 2020 they lost all momentum, all that stuff. I think that's just how we all feel inside as artists. You know, personally for me, I think 2020 set me up for an amazing 2021. And I think it probably did the same for Lachlan. You know, for all of us out here that are just, what are we doing? We're going to do it, whatever it is.
Absolutely. And Allie, thank you so much. Was there anything that you wanted to touch on that we maybe didn't touch on?
Not really. I mean, you guys always do such a great job. I enjoy talking to you guys. Thank you. Just as always, I'll shout out my socials. It's Allie Colleen Music. You guys on almost everything. I know it can seem silly sometimes, but there's no way to help artists more, you guys, than to follow them on socials. So anybody watching, thank you guys for tuning into CRS and all of us in the music universe and all that stuff. Come check me out on socials. You'll find all the information for the album, all that kind of stuff as we figure it out ourselves. But thank you guys seriously for making time. I know you guys have a busy virtual CRS this year. So thank you for fitting me in.
Well, thank you.
Pleasure was all ours, and we appreciate the kind words. And we'll tag you on this, and hopefully your fans will watch it and share it as well.
Please.